The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, Chicago. Again, another frozen Monday, folks. I hope everyone is keeping warm. Joining me in the studio today again is Ken DeLuc.
Howdy, folks.
And John Arena. And we have a power-packed show for you today. Also joining us at about 9:15 will be Dr. Azar Khwadar, who is the founder of the Compassionate Care Network. And he's a retired surgeon, and we'll be talking to him about something very important, especially as far as our health care, or rather our sick care is concerned. That's the way that he likes to put it. Our healthcare system is totally screwed up, and we'll be getting some input from Dr. Khwadar on what is happening, especially with regards to a simple thing or a not so simple thing as diabetes. Joining me also shortly would be Michelle. And Michelle Alfano would be giving us a quick update on what's happening with Eric's case, as every week we are following up on that. And also, folks, this coming Saturday, January 27th, we are going to be doing a community gathering. The Plainfield Community Alliance is a group that is trying to bring the community together and break some barriers, build bridges. So Saturday, 27th of January, 10:30 to 1 o'clock at the Plainfield Central High School in Plainfield. If you have the time, please go ahead and come and joining us. We'd love to have you over there. So, Ken, you want to start off by saying some of the topics that we will be covering today. You guys were kind of very hard to trot on something that people need to know today. What was it?
Well, the Supreme Court is taking on a very obscure case, Lober Bright Enterprises versus Gina Raimondo. And basically it's about offshore fishing, which doesn't seem like it makes any major impact to anybody. But this is like really, really important, okay? Mm-hmm. What it basically does is it's putting into question the rights of, in fact, John, I'm going to let you explain.
Chevron Doctrine.
Chevron Doctrine.
Sounds very ominous.
Yes.
Okay.
So explain what that is, and then I'll go further in explaining what it means to everybody listening here.
Okay, folks, and if you have any questions that you would like us to answer, the number to call in is 773-763-9278. You're tuned in to the Lightning Strike Sunday mornings on WCPT, Chicago's Progressive Talk radio station. Ken and John, go ahead, guys.
So essentially the Chevron Doctrine, which has been in place for about 40 years, based on a case, obviously, about Chevron, and basically environmental oversight. So it allows judges to defer to agencies when it comes to figuring out how to implement a law if there are disputes over how to interpret the language Congress has passed. And this is incredibly common, even right here in the city council. At the end of every ordinance that I worked on, it said, the department is allowed to propagate rules. So you basically can't put every last detail into a law. You create a framework, and then the agencies are the ones that implement. They're the professionals. They're the ones that have detailed information about fisheries in the case of this case, or whatever it is that the government is regulating.
Okay.
So that's what they're trying to overturn here, which would open up a Pandora's box of what is the role of the bureaucracy and the experts that we employ in our government to actually implement the laws. Is it going to be a judge? Is it going to be Congress? Or is it going to be the people that have experts in the field?
That's really important because say you have a judge who has a certain bias and he was appointed, not elected, and he has some, people backing him that that he wants to promote their special interests as opposed to the interest of the community at large. Let me just ask you this. Which of these things would you like to eliminate if this thing goes through? The EPA, okay? They're out there to regulate pollution. Do you want some judge saying no? They can just forget about the carbon footprint, forget about everything else, and in 3.5 years, we get past that tipping point for environmental regulations, and then your kids and grandkids are going to live in 115-degree temperatures most of the year. Do you want the USDA not to take care of your food supply and let special interests decide that no, we don't have to regulate this stuff and people get sick? The FDA, as far as your drugs, you don't want to make sure that the drugs are making that are safe for you? Do you want OSHA not to protect the workers? Do you not want the CS or the CPSC to keep dangerous toys and consumer products out of there? Do you want the FTC not to regulate monopolies, so again, people can just take advantage and charge you more money? Do you want the Department of Transportation to come up with highway and automobile safety standards that can be eliminated because of these special interests? Or the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms to not to regulate guns and assault rifles and that type of thing? Do you want the Interior Department not to regulate drilling and mining on federal lands? I mean, let's just destroy the environment on that end. The Forest Service to protect our woodlands and rivers. The FCC to protect us from internet predators, and the Department of Labor for protecting labor rights. Basically, this stupid decision that they're talking about right now could change everything. This is really, really important. Now, they're not going to be judging on this until what?
I think a couple of months.
Yeah, it'll be a couple of months down the road. But this is something that has to be on everyone's radar right now. Reach out, give a call to your congressman, whoever you want to make a voice on to let this know. We cannot let the protection, the government, like everyone says, like Reagan said back in the day, I'm here, I'm from the government, I'm here to protect you. Well, actually, that's really true. There's certain things that individuals cannot do. We do need the federal government to oversee things that you and I and everyone else can't do on an individual basis. This is really, really, really important. We have to have these...
we have to have structures. I mean, we can't, it's funny because, there's corporate interests that are like, we don't want government telling us what to do. But we also, as population, I don't think we want our rivers to light on fire, right? So when we didn't have these kind of structures, these were the kind of impacts. People would they're like, well, if they catch me and give me a fine, maybe. But if there is no regulation, if there is no department, the interesting thing about why a fisheries, issue, it's what the core of this is who's paying for that EPA employee to be on the boat, making sure they're not pulling, endangered species out or catching dolphins in nets and things like that. That's what motivated this particular case. But the thing is, in the arguments, it took them a half hour to even get to talking about fisheries at all, and in that it was passing. This goes to, as you said, the core of what is government's role in making sure we are safe, regardless of what it is. From products that we buy for our kids, to food that we eat, to what kind of world we're going to live in and our kids are going to live in.
So, folks, very important for us to hold our government accountable. Very important for us to hold our judiciary accountable also, because most of these judges are appointed. And especially in the case of the Supreme Court and the federal judges, they're appointed for life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and these are the guys who are supposed to be nonpartisan. But if you look at some of the recent decisions that are coming down from the federal judiciary and the Supreme Court, I mean, it is so partisan, it's crazy. And unless we, as the citizens of this country, wake up and take notice of this and talk about it, things are not going to change.
Yeah.
On that note, folks, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after that with a quick update from Michelle Alfano on what's happening with Eric's case.
Are you a business looking for the right talent or a job seeker searching for your dream career? Look no further than the Center for Strategic Solutions, your workforce solution experts. Our experienced team at the Center for Strategic Solutions is dedicated to connecting employers with top-tier talent and helping job seekers find opportunities that truly align with their goals. We're more than just consultants. We're your partners in success. Ready to take your workforce to the next level or land that ideal job? Contact the Center for Strategic Solutions today at 1-847-306-9274 or visit us online at www.cfssus.com. The Center for Strategic Solutions, your bridge to a brighter future in the Windy City. The number to call is 847-306-9274 or send an email to info@cfssus.com. That is info@cfssus.com.
Hey folks, did you know there's a program in Illinois that if you qualified for it would allow you to get solar installed in your home at no out-of-pocket cost? The benefit to you would be a reduction of your electric bill, possibly as high as 30 to 50%, and more importantly, you would take out the uncertainty of almost guaranteed future price increases imposed from your electric company. If you'd like to see if you can qualify for this program, call Ken DeLuc at 312-617-8979. That's 312-617-8979. Help us save the environment and change that electric bill burden.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Lightning Strike. Joining us on the air today is Dr. Azhar Khwadr. He is the co-founder of the Compassionate Care Network and a retired surgeon. Good morning, Dr. Khwadr. Welcome to WCPT.
Good morning, Fahim, and good to talk to you. Good to hear from you.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. So the other day we were talking about the health care, or rather the sick care in our country, the way that you put it. And I was very intrigued, wanted to know a little bit more about what were your thoughts on that? Why are you calling it sick care instead of health care?
Well, we've been for a long time talking about this issue that we are basically treating patients down the line after they become diagnosed, but we have not bothered to look at the upstream situation with reference to preventing the diseases that we're dealing with.
Okay.
Well, I think the budget that we are spending is about $4 trillion on health care, and very tiny, minuscule amount of that is spent on preventive care. So there's a need for us to focus on preventive care.
Okay, and especially I think you were talking to me the other day with regards to diabetes and the continuous glucose monitoring systems that are out there, which can be so critical in saving money down the road for our systems as a whole. So can you talk a little bit about that, and what are the contingencies that the insurance companies are saying, no, we're not going to allow this, when they should be allowing it? So what was that?
Yeah, no, I think this is again political for him. As you know, as healthcare is such a political football, and everybody plays with it according to their preferences. And every year there is a big debate on all of these issues that are healthcare related, but nothing really seems to get done.
Okay.
The issue with the diabetes has been that they did not want to have anything to do with the promotion of the prevention side till the Interest Reduction Act came into the picture, and at that time I think Biden was able to get it passed because of other contingencies that were in this Inflation Reduction Act that they wanted to get through. So what they have done now is they have allowed the cap on the expenses for insulin coverages to be at $35 per month for patients that are insulin dependent and they are U.S. citizens and enrolled in the Medicare program.
Okay.
So that used to be a big fight also because I think the cost was over a couple $100 every month for a lot of patients, and it was becoming an issue for the seniors who were on fixed budgets and that kind of stuff. So finally, I think they were able to bring that down to $35 a person per month for the diabetes insulin-dependent patients. But the other patients are still left out. and there are about 90 million people in the country who are pre-diabetic. There are about 37 million who are diabetic. Out of the 37 million, about 27 million know that they are diabetic, and about another 7-8 million don't even know that they have diabetes.
Wow.
And so there is a huge problem with reference to the incidence and the prevalence of diabetes. It is one of the chronic medical conditions that drives the cost of health care in the country. The other ones, of course, are coronary artery disease and obesity and blood pressure. Those are the chronic medical conditions that if we were to lump them all together with diabetes, they will account for about 80% of the budget that we are spending on health care.
Okay.
That, as I said again, used to be $3 trillion not too long back, and has jumped up to $4 trillion. And the pandemic showed the evidence of the fallacy that we have in taking care of the healthcare needs of our people without being on a flat universal basis for everybody. There are about 20 million people that are still uninsured in the country, and they don't have any access to affordable health care. And so they were the people that showed up as a result of the disparities in the healthcare system that we have that showed up at the pandemic. We had a disproportionate number of people who were in the African American community, who were also in the Hispanic community, who were suffering as a result of the pandemic, and who were in the mortality figures that were the highest. So therefore, I think we were talking the other day that there is a need for us to use the preventive side of the equation much more so that we can get to the bottom of this problem in a way that would make better sense. At this time, we are not really doing that. So the CGM is a continuous glucose monitoring tool that is now available for people to identify what they're doing in terms of the diet that they're consuming and the results that they're having in their levels of the blood sugar. Not everybody responds to the same diet the same way. The biology of every individual is different, and so when you consume a particular item of food that you are able to tolerate much better with the blood sugar remaining low, another person will not be able to reciprocate the same results. And these results are always a questionable kind of a number that we can't find out unless we do a finger prick exam of the blood sugar.
Okay.
And that was a huge inconvenience. And the continuous glucose monitor comes into the picture, and what it does is there is a sensor that you apply to your arm, and that sensor then gives you a continuous level of your blood sugar throughout the 24 hours that you are watching over it. And that, I think, is a game changer in terms of knowing what you're eating and what it is doing to your system, and in terms of the results in the blood sugar, you can see for yourself what's happening.
Okay, so if I go to my primary care physician and I ask him to prescribe this, because I think it's by prescription only, I can't just go and buy that continuous glucose monitoring system myself, can I?
No, you can't. You have to go through a licensed physician, and it can be a primary care doctor or anybody else who has to prescribe that. The prescription is not really a problem. I think it is the issue with the coverage on the other side with the insurances. So the pharmacies will fill it if you have a licensed physician requesting that to be filled up.
Okay.
But then there are the costs involved. And the normal cost of these would run about $300 for the month. And if you are on Medicare and you are insulin dependent and requiring insulin, then it's all available for free. So then this is why I think it is important for people who are diabetic and on insulin and are on Medicare to know about this program and make sure that they are asking for it and then getting the benefit from it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Khader, for joining us. And before you go, I would like you to please say a couple of words about the Compassionate Care Network and what is this group and what do you guys do with that?
Thank you. Yes, we have been doing this work for about 20 years or more now. And this is a non-profit 501c3 organization that has a few goals in mind. From the beginning, it has been access to affordable health care that has been our passion. And we have always said that access to health care should be a universal right and it should not be a privilege in America. Number two, we have said that health screenings are important to identify people at risk of health risk, and this can be only accomplished if we are offering it in communities on a free basis. And this has been for diabetes, for blood pressure, for heart disease, and for dental health, and for weight management, that we have been promoting this on a weekly basis. Our team has included people that are physicians and nurses and medical students who have come into the picture to do the volunteer work and do this on a weekly basis at different locations in the community.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
We do webinars. Webinars are one more thing I would add, if you would allow me to.
Okay.
We do webinars for education, and this is for health education in terms of the same thing that we're talking about now with you, that the community can benefit from on diabetes management and weight management.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Khader, for joining us. Folks, the website for the Compassionate Care Network is ccnamerica.com, CCN for Compassionate Care Network, America.com. Please go ahead and visit and get involved and take advantage of these services that are being provided by this great team that is out there. And we'll be right back after a quick break with Michelle Alfano and an update on what's happening with Eric's case. You're tuned in to The Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Muhammad Fahim. With me in the studios today, again, Ken DeLuc and John Arena.
Did you know there's an Illinois mandate that states by 2025, ComEd has to have 25% of the energy they deliver come from a green source? Because of this, plus the fees and taxes you've already paid on this program, if you qualify, you can get solar on your home at no out-of-pocket cost. This can mean an average savings on your electric bill of maybe 30 to 50%. More importantly, it would eliminate the uncertainty of ComEd raising your rates by whoever knows how much each year. Some people have noticed a 41% increase on their bill this spring, and ComEd has been asking for another 80% increase over the next 4 years. If your average bill is $200 a month now, maybe it could be reduced to $100 a month. Now, 5 years, would you rather pay $115 or possibly $400 to $500? If you'd like to see if you can qualify for this program, call Ken DeLuc at 312-617-8979. That's 312-617-8979. Help us save the environment and change that electric bill burden. That's 312-617-8979. Take advantage of this program while it's still available.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Muhammad Fahim.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Lightning Strike. Again, it's a frozen morning out there, Sunday mornings. Thank you so much for spending your Sundays with us. And please remember that we have this community gathering in Plainfield happening next Saturday from 10:30 to 1 o'clock. Do come in. It's going to be at the Plainfield Central High School, 24210. West Ford Beggs Drive in Plainfield. And the whole idea is to bring the community together so we can, build some bridges, break some barriers, get to know each other. And I have this concept that I'm trying to put across, that each one teach one. Unless you know who your neighbor is, you're not going to break any, build any bridges with your neighborhoods. And so important for us, especially in today's social media world, when all our actions are somehow being manipulated by people out there who are being paid big bucks to make sure that you listen to them and you do what they are asking you to do. And by the way, we will be talking about some of those things coming up also as to this political action committees that we talked about, John, in the last show, and the impact that these guys are having, especially some of the PACs that are focused on hurting our Congress people. There's this huge push now by AIPAC and all of those other PACs to bring down some of the people in Congress. And my question again is, what is this? Are they trying to buy the entire country? But that is a question that we will definitely be addressing.
Mohammed, are you saying there's a problem with money in politics?
Oh,
is that
no.
your premise?
No, not at all, not at all. Okay, everybody is sold. We know that. Okay, all our politicians are paid and sold, especially for a few of them. It's big money that's out there. I know a congressman over here in Illinois who had more money in his campaign fund than both of the state senators combined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. This guy had like $15 million the last time I checked in his campaign fund, John. I'm like, who the heck is paying that kind of money, and what kind of obligations is this guy keeping up to the people who are paying him that kind of money when both state senators combined had less than $7 million?
Yeah.
So you talk about money in politics.
It's
yeah,
still
folks.
quite a bit of money.
It's quite a bit of money. Okay. We got Michelle. Michelle, thank you so much for holding on. A quick update to what's happening with Eric.
Good morning, Mohammed and team. So thanks for having me. Thank you for having the vision. As you know, I'm working on the Eric Strang case, and Eric has been eligible for parole for 7 years now, and he's being held at Newton Correctional Facility under Beth Skinner, the director of the Iowa Department of Corrections. Eric sent a letter to me this week, and I'd like to read it because it's just a beautiful, quick statement to people who have supported Eric. And at the end of reading this, I will give my email. If anyone would like to write to Eric, they can email me, and we'll certainly post his address as well. So it says, this is written in January of 2024, Dear friends, I hope your 2024 gets off to a great start. This past year was one of the most difficult I've ever been through. Somehow I was able to remain positive through some incredibly difficult and trying times. What made all the difference was the support I had from so many of you. I have been the recipient of so much compassion, love, and goodwill. Many of you have written letters, made phone calls, helped financially, and given so much of your time to help me. Each of you have helped me in your own way and have made incredible contributions. I cannot express how thankful I am for this outpouring of support. I am hopeful 2024 will be the year that things change, thanks to your efforts. I look forward to the day that will be here very soon when I will get to thank you in person. You are all friends and family to me now. I am forever grateful. Sincerely, Eric.
Oh, boy. Folks, again, we continue to follow Eric's case. And on that, we got Malcolm calling in from Chicago with a message for Governor Reynolds. Malcolm, good morning. You are on WCPT on the Lightning Strike.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. Yes, I wanted to say to Governor Kim Reynolds that the people, they don't want policies that are going to be basically lock them up and throw away the key. We have to believe in second chances, especially for young people. You know, my God, Eric was only 19, and, you know, if this is the trend, I'm just concerned for the future, you know, the youth, the future of America. So that's my message to Kim Reynolds.
Malcolm, thank you so much for calling in. Again, folks, if you want to join us, share your thoughts with us. The number to call in is 773-763-9278. Again, it's Sunday morning. We are here every Sunday from 9 in the morning till 10 o'clock, rain or shine or snow or cold or freezing weather. John, continuing our conversation, one of the things that I have been monitoring, folks, and we've been talking about this entire thing that is happening in the Middle East now, this so-called war. War can be between two countries, not between a country which is so technologically advanced And by the way, they're being paid with our tax dollars. And going after somebody and ripping that entire country, that entire area to shreds, that's not war. And then recently, a couple of days back, the Israeli army now blew up the entire country. We have been watching that, and then they blew up a university. And remember, it's not something that they can come back and say, oh, no, you know what, there were terrorists in the university. That university was actually being used as a base for the last 2 months by the Israeli army. So what is the sense in blowing it up? It is not so much just the university also. There was also a building, close to it, which had like over 3,000 artifacts, historical rare artifacts in National Museum near the university campus. Everything was blown away. And we are letting this tail wag the dog over here by supporting these kind of efforts. How long can this continue, John?
Well, I hope not much longer. I mean, I think we were far beyond the getting retribution for the 1,200 or so, Israelis that were killed on October, 7th.
7th, yep.
But, I mean, we're now to the point where of 26 hospitals in Gaza, only 13 are even functioning. They're functioning at far beyond their capacity. They have no medicine. They have no anesthetic.
Yep.
They cannot treat people. We're just now seeing this is a horror show of mass bombings, mass killings, and it's beyond defending their territory.
And anytime we want to speak about something like that, they jump down your throat and say, "Oh, you're being anti-Semitic." No, folks. Oh, do you condemn Hamas? Yeah, of course we condemn Hamas, but at the same token, we definitely condemn what is happening with our tax dollars over there, folks. This is unbelievable. It is unforgivable. And I've been asking time and again for our Congress to step up, our president to step up and condemn what is happening. Mr. President, again, this is an appeal for you. You can just pick up the phone. But hey, Netanyahu is not listening to you. He's disrespecting you every single day in and out. Why are you taking it?
There's a blatant hypocrisy going on right here. Basically, the U.S. position was to the Palestinians, you have to recognize Israel as a state before, we will support what you're doing, which they didn't do. But then, on the other hand, Israel is not recognizing the Palestinian state either, so where is the equity involved in this? I mean, why are we favoring one group over another, and they're two separate groups that should live together? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, we will continue the conversation, folks, and you're welcome to call in and have your say on this. But we have David calling in from San Francisco, from the medical school. David, good morning. You're on WCPT on the Lightning Strike. Thank you for calling in. What can we help you with?
Hey, look, I was interested in the medical issues, but it's funny.
Sure, David. David, I think we have a bad connection. Do you mind if you're on the speaker, just take your phone off speaker and speak directly into the phone?
Is that any better? Yeah, I'm on a headset. It should be a good mic. Right?
Okay, no, there's a lot of disturbance coming in. See if you can get off the headset if possible.
Is that better?
Still not coming through clear. You want to call back on a regular phone?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll call back.
Okay, thank you, David. So, folks, here we are talking about issues again every Sunday morning. We bring up local issues, we bring up national issues, we bring up international issues. The show that we have on, we call it is of the people, for the people, by the people. It is your show. It's not my show. It's not, John's show or Ken's show. But you can support us by also going to our website. We are trying to see not to take corporate advertising on this show. So our website is tlschicago.com, which is The Lightning Strike. You'll see a donate button over there. If you can make a donation to keep the show going, we would really, really appreciate it. We're also going to be setting up a Patreon account so that you can continue to listen. We have also started the Lightning Strike podcast, and you will see a link to that on the website for tlschicago.com. And I think we got a couple of callers calling in, and let's see what our callers have to say. Let's see, David is back on. David, good morning. You're back on. Let's hope we have a better connection this time.
Yeah, how's that?
Better than before.
Good deal. Well, I was interested, as you were talking about Gaza, it crosses my mind that this may be more of an issue of merchants in the temple. Do I remember right that Semite is a whole variety of different people, not only Jews, right? There are Christian Semites, there are Muslim Semites, there are agnostic Semites. It's such a phony use of that word, but it also gets involved in merchants in the temple who are abusing the Ten Commandments, who are abusing the religion of the Hebrews, and pretending that a land grab can be a religious act. And if you remember the social contract, that was, when humans were able to finally get rid of the kings who claimed that God put them in charge, and if God put him in charge, then God was supposed to look out. The king was supposed to look out for every sparrow, and not be murdering them willy-nilly. And the idea that the kings and the social contract were an important part of civilization being able to emerge from slavery. And the idea that corporations at this point don't have a social contract. And what corporations are working with, Netanyahu's gang they're taking orders from Netanyahu's gang. Maybe we should yank corporate charters all over the world of major corporations that are taking part in this murder.
Well, thank you so much for your input, David. You're so absolutely right. It's not just the corporations taking orders from Netanyahu. Our president, our Congress are taking, orders from Netanyahu, it seems like, and that, folks, needs to be addressed. We have an election coming up. Make sure that you go out and vote and hold our representatives accountable for putting humanity first rather than anyone else's, ideas. It's not so much the Jewish people. There's so many good Jewish people out there. It is the Zionist ideology. And Zionism is not, restricted to Jews, John. Did you know that? I mean, there are plenty of Christian Zionists. In fact, our president has said, I'm proud to be a Zionist. So you go figure that out, folks. And we got Lamont Robinson calling in. Lamont, good morning. You are on WCPT. Thank you so much for joining us. What's on your mind, my friend?
Good morning. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your show this morning and really talk about some of the things that are going on in the Fourth Ward, the ward that I represent, and the city of Chicago.
Thank you so much, Lamont. And Representative Lamont Robinson is our person of the week. And Sheila is supposed to come in and introduce Lamont, but Sheila is running a little bit behind because we actually wanted to take Lamont at 9:45. But now that we got you on, Alderman, good morning. Welcome to WCPT and the Lightning Strike.
Thank you again for having me.
Go ahead. Let me.
What's going on in the Fourth Ward?
Let me see what's happening in the Fourth Ward, because we got John Arena sitting here. John used to be the alderman for the 45th Ward. So alderman to alderman, John, you take it.
well, this is your first term, right? You were elected in the recent election, and why don't you tell us about? Why don't you tell us what's going on in the Fourth Ward and what some of your priorities are?
Well, good morning to you, and it is certainly good to be on the line this morning with you. Some of the major priorities for me is the old Michael Reese site. We want to develop that site. It has unfortunately been dormant for several years. You might remember that the city purchased this when we thought that we were going to get the Olympics, and you know how long of a time that was. And then also just development across the ward, bringing in new businesses. We also need affordable housing in the Fourth Ward. and then also working on legislation to, again, bring in affordable housing to incentivize developers to be able to do that. But the ward goes as far south as Hyde Park, along the lakefront to Jackson. I always share, folks, if you can think about Jones College Prep and Kenwood High School, those are the two bookends of the ward that I'm happy to represent.
That's fantastic. What are some of the things that are going on in housing that you're working on with the administration?
Well, you know that we have brought Bring Home Chicago. I know that there is some thoughts on that from both sides, but we have to be able to house folks. I'm in a ward that continues to increase in rents, and it's very difficult the folks to be able to find a nice, affordable place to rent, particularly our working folks. And so that is a focus for me, Alderman. Again, to make sure that I have a ward that is affordable, also a ward that's safe, and someone can walk and grab a cup of coffee, a sandwich. Those are the priorities for me as the Alderman of the 4th Ward.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, the Bring Chicago Home initiative is in process now. It'll be on the ballot coming up in March, right? That'll be on the.
That is correct.
Yeah, so people should take time to learn about that. And also it's great to have somebody on. I'm from the Northwest side, and I tell people up here, you got to get down to the South side. There's so much going on. Hyde Park is just an amazing place, but just the neighborhoods on the South side really are just mirror images of what we see on the North side in Jeff Park and Portage Park. And it's good to see. I've been down there and I've spent some time, and it's good to see that we have representatives that are out there talking up their neighborhoods and trying to bring the development that you need, but also trying to balance the gentrification that comes with that development. That's a tricky needle to thread.
It absolutely is. We think about Bronzeville. It's one of those communities that we have a restaurant, great restaurants, and just the history. The Bronzeville at one point was the hub for African Americans that folks were able to come and listen to some jazz greats, buy some insurance, great food, and so just trying to get back there to a place that, again, someone can grab a sandwich, grab a bite to eat, feel safe, also listen to a little jazz. That is what I'm working on as the Alderman of the 4th Ward, and I appreciate you.
Oh, okay, I think we lost your signal, Alderman, so you're welcome to please call back. The number again is 773-763-9278. And folks, if you have any questions, any concerns, feel free to call us. Okay, I'm looking at this website called the opensecrets.org. Okay.
Money in politics.
Money in politics. That is what John was referring to. So there's like 5 million. Oh man, look at these numbers are just mind-boggling. Okay, there's 26 PACs that I'm looking at, which are pro-Israel PACs. Okay, folks, you can go to opensecrets.org, check it out, and these are from different. They're under different names. These are the people who are actually buying our politicians. And that is why we see our country continuously getting involved with overseas, affairs and overseas conflicts. And the thing is, no, we are protecting democracy. Okay, yeah, sure. So it's the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. They have donated, according to this, Open Secrets now, $2,664,000. The Joint Action Committee for Political Affairs, the J Street PAC, the Republican Jewish Coalition, the Democratic Majority for Israel, U.S. Israel PAC, Maryland Association for Concerned Citizens, Pro-Israel America PAC, to Protect Our Heritage PAC, Citizens Organized PAC, Desert Caucus, American Principles, Sun PAC, I mean, it goes on and on. There's like 26 different PACs that are listed here just to buy our politicians. And this is crazy, to support one country that our country is going backward and forward and trying to, do backflips, trying to justify what is happening, the genocide that is happening in the Middle East. And so we got a couple of people again calling us back. And go ahead, Ken.
The Alderman's back online.
Okay, wonderful. Alderman, thank you so much for coming back online. And you were talking about some of your priorities now. As a first-time alderman, what brought you into running for public office? Why?
I was a state rep prior to. I was a state rep in the General Assembly for 5 years in the same area that I represent as alderman, and I thought that it was important to shift from the State House to the City Council.
Okay.
The job now gives me an opportunity to be on the ground. And when I mention development, that is certainly in the alderman's lane, to be able to develop a community, bring businesses in, and also to work on safety, which is a large piece of the struggle that we're facing across the city of Chicago.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Alderman, and you're always welcome to call in, join us anytime you want. It is your show, and you are more than welcome to be a part of it in any way, shape, or form that you want. Thank you again for calling in. And folks, we have a quick thing that John actually wanted to bring up something. John, go ahead.
So we touched on this last week, and I think this kind of goes to the broader, issues of what are the role of our politicians and what's the accountability look like. I want to play a couple clips from the Trump immunity hearings, and it was about a 2-hour hearing where both sides got to present, and some really stunning positions were taken by Trump's legal team. Maybe we can play clip number 2, and that'll kind of set the stage for what we're talking about.
I asked you a yes or no question. Could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival who was not impeached, would he be subject to criminal prosecution?
If he were impeached and convicted first. And
so your answer is no.
My answer is qualified yes.
So right there, I think I think that 15 seconds or 20 seconds of argument. Now, it's important to understand when a lawyer is making a case and making an argument in front of any judge, they are representing the approved position that their client wants them to make.
Right.
Now, legal teams do their research. Now, he's saying, in essence, that it's a qualified yes, that it is okay for a president to use SEAL Team 6 to execute a political rival. A qualified yes, just the fact that he would say, yes, it's okay to do that, and here are the conditions where that's allowed. I don't know. I want to live in a country where there are no conditions where my political leadership can assassinate their opponents. And then what's interesting as you go forward into this, into this testimony, that was Judge Pan that was asking that question. It's a 3-judge panel. Judge Henderson, this is a Bush appointee.
Yep.
She brings up the paradox that during the impeachment testimony, that in both cases, there was an argument made that don't do this now. Impeachment's not the right place to do this. The best place to do this is after he's out of office. So if you could go ahead and play, looks like clip number 4.
I think it's paradoxical to say that his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed allows him to violate criminal laws.
And that, it's like she really frames it incredible there that they're making the case on one hand that he should have absolute immunity, and he's been saying this now on the campaign trail, saying that, if a president can't do this stuff, whatever he wants, then how can he function? Well, the country's functioned, for
Pretty well. All these years
without the assumption of any president
becoming a king.
Trump saying the only way I can do my job is if I can execute people with SEAL Team 6. Okay. So I just thought it was really important. If you have a chance, if the listeners have a chance, you can find the full audio of this testimony. And I'm a complete geek for this stuff, but listen to it and hearing the arguments that they're making. It's really important to understand this is the case that Trump is making, that we need somebody who is allowed to go to the far extremes. And look, there's a huge gap between your everyday, high crimes and misdemeanors and SEAL Team 6 executing your political rivals. But the question is, there's all the things that a president can do and what he has controls over it is saying maybe he's never going to issue an order for SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of corruption, an awful lot of dictator-like behavior you can execute that will never get an impeachment, because that's the qualification that their attorney is making, that only if he's impeached. So he'd have to be impeached first, and then he, after he's out of office, could be tried for these crimes.
And that is nowhere in the Constitution at all. Okay, I mean, that's a great argument they're trying to make, but it doesn't exist in reality.
Folks, one of the things that I want you all to take away from today's show is this. Okay, it's our country. Let's take it back, okay? Trump, even though he's blustering every single day now, remember in the Iowa caucus, only 7% of registered Republicans came out to vote. So it's not all Republicans wanting Trump to become the next president, okay?
And only half of them voted for him. So this is not
okay.
Our country is saying this is the guy.
It's like 60,000 people came out in the Iowa caucuses, 60,000 registered Republicans, so 7% came out to vote, and half of them didn't vote for him. Okay.
Now, there's some question on who he's going to try to bring on for the vice president thing. I'm thinking Goebbels, maybe?
They're going to resurrect that guy, right?
Okay, definitely for sure. What was that kid's name? Ramaswamy or something?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek Ramaswamy, who's sucking up to Trump now, saying, "Oh, what a great leader Mr. Trump is." Stop sucking up, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Well, so far, every candidate, including Haley, has said they would pardon Trump if they were elected. So this is really down to they're already saying accountability doesn't exist for if you're a Republican, but criminal prosecution exists.
Remember, folks.
Hey, what about Hunter's laptop? Really?
Oh, yeah, Hunter Biden's laptop. This is what our Congress is focused on, okay? Because these guys are bought and paid for by the lobbyists. And we have to come out and vote, folks. If you're not registered to vote, please register to vote. If you are registered to vote, please come out to vote. And before you go to the polling booth, tune in to the Lightning Strike every Sunday. As we come close to the elections, we will be digging deep into these candidates and their backgrounds.
And don't forget next Saturday.
Yep, next Saturday at the Plainfield Central High School. Do come in and join us in the morning from 10 to 1, 1:30 or 10:30 to 1 o'clock. And by the way, we are also asking for donations of warm clothes and some household items. If you remember, we had Ali Khan from Humanity Relief as our Person of the Week a couple of months back on the radio over here. And we have invited his charity to come and collect some donations for his constituents out there. Come out and help. Let us make this country great again, not make America great again like our orange Jesus
forward.
wants to say.
And also, we have the ThePodcast.com. Mohammed and I have been doing this for a while. If you want to listen to something while you're driving that 2-hour drive to Bloomington, Illinois, check it out.
Please do, and stay warm. It's going to warm up next weekend, so welcome back next weekend, same time, same place. We'll be glad to have you on the air with us. Again, remember, TLSchicago.com is our website. TLS for The Lightning Strike. We'll be seeing you next week. Have a wonderful week, folks.
The preceding program, The Lightning Strike, was sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The view